So, you've already moved in. It's only been 2 weeks from Valentine's Day. Yep, welcome back, everyone. I'm Simmer Chase, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're doing episode number 51 of our speed builds. Yes, and this one is the Sweetheart's Cozy House. So imagine, you just met that love of your life, and it was Valentine's Day. You had the best one ever, and you're already ready to shack up. Yep. So this is the house for you. Even if you have a kid, you have a lot of laundry, or you just need a streaming space, a gaming space, a place to get away because, honey, we're already having trouble. Yes, and you're already about to go into couples therapy because it's been 2 weeks. It's been a long 2 weeks. Yep. So I can't wait for you guys to see how this one turned out. And there's a whole story and a series coming soon for this very house. Yes, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe in links below. And stay proud. Go out and do something magical. And let's go ahead and dive into this sweetheart's house now. Heart House. Yes, I can't wait for you guys to see the series I've cooked up for this too. Oh my gosh, it's so dramatic. And like, I was just thinking like over Valentine's Day when I was with my husband, like it was a great time. We've been together now. We've had our 9th year anniversary and I deeply care about him. He's awesome and very supportive actually of me and this for the most part, which is great. And so anyhow, I was like, what if, because we actually like met and then like immediately like were together and like moved in. And I was like, well, in that situation, like you need a house, obviously, that's like easy to kind of do and get through and have that's maybe going to keep your struggles and kind of relationship issues like not as difficult, because that could be one of the things is like having space and room and you're not on top of someone. And this is one of the like smallest lots that you can really build. So I wanted to really kind of maximize the opportunity of it. And to kind of really kind of make a house that really could shine on this sort of lot, because this lot isn't like quite the best or my favorite, but it actually, I think it turned out really well and I enjoyed doing this and it just felt really cozy to me when I was first creating it. And I'm like, this is perfect. Like there's a little area to like have a 1 or 2 kids. Like if God forbid you have twins, like my husband is. And, you know, I was just like, this is something where I'm just like, oh, yeah, I would love to do an idea like this because it's just hilarious to think about like, oh yeah, well, there are people like us that did like move in together pretty quickly. And so, yeah, like you've been together for 2 weeks and you're like already super committed and ready and like, so like forever. And so like, you're just gonna go ahead and get a house and need one. So hoping this would be a good solution for you. I think you can do your laundry here. You can hang out in this cabana that we've now put together. I really enjoyed making the space like really maximized. So like you're seeing me put together the stuff under the stairs now, and then kind of bring in a lot of elements just to really fill the space and make it feel like every area like has its own like little distinct section. So really the way to do that is to break it up with seating arrangements, rugs, and then to also just kind of blend things like, you know, pick similar colored objects and things to kind of put together in a room, but then kind of give them a different purpose or use. Like what I did with that to kind of break up the spaces. So it doesn't feel like one like empty giant space. It just feels like there's kind of identity behind each area, because that's kind of what can happen with a open floor concept is that, okay, now what do I do with this giant space? Like, you know, so you just kind of break it up with furniture arrangements and a lot of rugs, things like that. So now we have, let's see here. Now we have the outside lighting. I really enjoy making houses that look good both in day and night, and something that just kind of really shines all the time, no matter like what season it is, because half the time I'll forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in winter. No wonder my, you know, screenshots don't look that great. So this is one of those opportunities. And then also I use reshade as well, and I highly recommend it. I hadn't used it this whole time for years. And then finally I decided to just go ahead and do it because I've got more memory now on my computer. I'm up to 64 gigabytes, like the maximum that I can have. It's 64 gigs. So I was like, maybe I'll try it. And actually it's turned out pretty well for the most part. And I really enjoy it, I think. So, and now I'm able to do 4K and HDR, which is also really cool. Because I just have a lot more, like, The Sims, actually, when you're recording at that level and also capturing and then trying to play all at the same time and flipping the camera, it could get really grainy and blurry otherwise. So that's really why it kind of went that way. And so now you're seeing me do the vaulted ceiling upstairs, pulling in the bedrooms. So we've got like an older adult's bedroom, maybe like grandma, if you've got like a live-in nanny even, because you really can't deal with that already. And then, or, you know, like an older teen, even you could do that. But the space is definitely there to make it as your own. And my favorite was actually to do this sort of space here. And I actually even styled it to maybe it could be like somebody that's like a transient, like college student, maybe like a sophomore or junior that's about ready to leave home, but not quite. And now they're stuck back at home because of quarantine. And so they kind of have that space that the parents had taken over for a den. And then now it became that space again. And then it was fun because I also got to mix and match and play with a lot of the curtains too. I'm starting to get into curtains a lot more. And before I hadn't really like used the curtains that much. So you're kind of seeing those options and kind of how the curtains turn out. And there's a few times that I pan to outside just to kind of check on how the lighting looks from the outside and then also how the curtains kind of look as well. And actually my husband and I'll tell you, we just got rid of our curtains finally that came with our house. And I'm like so glad. Like we went to cellular blinds and so they let in so much light now. And I don't feel like I'm streaming from a cave. Even though I have like huge windows in my house, like you couldn't even hardly tell because we just had such heavy drapes. So that inspired me to use drapes in The Sims, but to really kind of thoughtfully use them so that they didn't like block out the lighting as much as they do in real life because it's really a bummer. And so you're seeing me do like a lot of the little odds and ends and sort of decor pieces here. And then now I'm going to kind of do the quick tour and you're going to also then see sort of the gallery and how everything came together because it was actually a pretty quick build. So I really want to kind of give you guys a really good view of how it came out and sort of like my ideas because it just kind of did come together pretty quickly once I got everything cut up. And so I wanted to just kind of, you know, play a little bit more with being able to highlight the house as it is and kind of what it has to offer. So here you're seeing sort of the outside and the different views here on the inside. And then like from the outside, like as you're going in, and you can see the inside at that point. So I really enjoyed being able to kind of create this tour as well because I work in real estate and real life. And so it's really all about me as well, trying to not only connect with you guys and really build a base of fellow simmers and legacy simmers, those of us that have been playing the game since, you know, day one or since we could click a mouse even, you know, I'm not discrediting those that were obviously born before me that couldn't even possibly have played it. I just think that any of us that, you know, just kind of when we started, you know, our first few clicks were The Sims. Yep, that's also a legacy player. So that to me is really neat and fun that we're all a community together now and able to connect and collab even. So I can't wait. Hopefully this year I've really set a resolution to collab with someone. And if you really want to collab or anything I'm actually into the idea of maybe even trying multiplayer on story stuff too, if anyone wants to. So I would be very glad to do any sort of collab. So yeah, let me know. And now we're looking at the arrangement, sort of hanging motif, I'll call it, there on the side, their little coffee bar area. Yes. And then like I don't know why they would ever need to hand wash their dishes because they have a nice dishwasher just to the other side of the sink. But they have it just in case. And then now that we have those like usable sort of cabinets, and shelves and things in the fireplace from Snowy Escapes, and then also from Paranormal. And then we have like bookcases and then the fireplace from Paranormal. And then these from Snowy Escapes. There's a lot more like areas for clutter. So I'm assuming we're going to get a lot more clutter in the near future as well. Just because of the sheer fact that we have space now. So why would they create space unless they have the idea of us then filling it with even more? Because I was looking through the clutter and even the debug clutter, and I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I could put one cup over and over again. Or maybe they could come out with a solution that allows us to do that. And there's like trays of just cups that we could load up with, that maybe like has a dozen or like 6 cups that they could actually use and go grab from. Because if they're creating all this usable space, and it's like, can they use it? So that would be neat too at some point, maybe. And I really like being able to mix it in and combine elements so they look different, but then also sort of new. And then maybe even to make it look more lifelike, and where, you know, or just sort of different and modern, even like where I did the mirror with the faucet and kind of having all that together. And so now you're seeing the outside cabana area. I really enjoy using this piece as much as I can. Like it's like one of my go-tos. I just love using it. I feel like it really brings the backyard together and kind of really defines a good seating area and a place to like really just hang out and enjoy company, you know, outdoors, which I can't wait to do. And if you haven't yet, you guys check out my little flower arrangements video I've done as well. That kind of just shows how I kind of create some of these arrangements and groupings, and kind of does a little more deep dive on that and gives you a lot more options and ideas for just kind of grouping different flowers, different things together to really give it that lifelike, more full, eye-popping sort of look that people, you know, will stop and look at your thumbnail because, whoa, that's a lot going on, or wow, that looks really interesting or different and something I've not seen. So that's really the exciting creativity and uniqueness with kind of being able to combo flowers and seating arrangements and that kind of thing together. So now we're going to go upstairs and look at the upper floor. So this one was a lot to cram into a little space. And I'm really happy with myself and how it actually came out, because it doesn't feel crammed, even though it is, because I, you know, kind of made sure to keep my art to scale, which is definitely a good idea as well. You don't want to make your wall look too little or too big by the art you use. So you want to have a really good, like, you know, sort of what I would call a bezel around it, or like a white space area around it. And then what would be neat too is if when you delete and create the vault ceiling actually looks normal, because it actually looks like just outer space when you look up. So I try to keep the camera from looking up too much, just because I hate that. But at the same point, I wish it would just make beams like automatically, like what we should be seeing from that view, but it doesn't show it. And I'm like, and I put the roof up and everything, and it's still like, it's not there. And I'm like, this is a bummer. Like, you know, I really like the idea of the vaulted ceiling and being able to see those beams up there, but I don't want to have to put them. I shouldn't have to if they're already there, you know, because it is the roof. I just deleted the ceiling. So now I am going in down through this little bedroom hallway area so that I could do the bathroom and have all that there. I would rather create that space than not have the bathroom as it was. And then here's that bedroom space. So here it does do the vaulted ceiling in this room, which confused me. I'm like, okay, well, this one has it, but the other one, I could not get it to appear. And see, then I think it's towards the angles is what it does, is where it looks weird and wonky. Because see, now you're seeing it like where it doesn't, you can't see it in the side, but then the middle you can. So I'm like, this is weird. But here is our bedroom area. And I just this is one of my favorite bedrooms I've done yet. Actually, because I just really enjoyed being able to kind of mix a lot of the objects from all of our packs and to kind of create a really fun, cohesive design. And I hope you guys liked it. I really do. As One of my favorites. Makes me excited to look at it. Because like I said, it could be like for college, or it could be for like a really cool rocker nanny, or it could be for any like anybody really. But like I was just thinking of all these like really rad, cool people, and I'm like, this would be the space for them. Like if you're really rad, totally cool, jazzed up for life, and want to rock out, but also have like a really like nice like spa like bedroom, you're gonna find it. And so now here is the house and how it turned out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And now here is the gallery and just sort of all the different sort of day and night and sort of the different views from the sides and what it looks like, because the gallery doesn't really do it a lot of justice. And that's what kind of bums me a little, is that you don't really get these good angles that can really kind of make the house look legit and more authentic. But here, you can. And so it would be neat if there was some way that we could just do our own screenshots a little bit, even if they had to go through a moderation process or something, like some way of doing it would be fantastic, because I love being able to showcase my own screenshots, because it's just a lot more lifelike and different. So here's our porch, and I broke up the big porch by using that fireplace, and then just a lot of the clutter then too, to kind of break it up and give its own identity. And then I really love that mural, so I used it, and just a lot of really fun pieces. And then my cabinets go pretty much all the way to the ceiling in my house, so I like doing that in real life too. The bedroom, and it's just got so much to do with that little nook there for like the reading and your office area, that you can have to like do your crafts and your like hobbies, like I am right now. And you can just kind of, relax and do what makes you happy. So there it is again. Yes. And then I really love being able to use like my sisters, I have 3 sisters, and they use beads and stuff over their doors. And I thought it'd be really cool to kind of have that in this too, and that idea. And so it was fun. And then just a lot of these other little colorful pieces, because it's spring coming, and also it's the Sweethearts house. And I think they will be hopefully happy, but I don't know. You'll have to tune in for the series of the Valentine Sweethearts, where they shack it up in this house after only knowing each other for 2 weeks. Yes. So, as always, I'm Simmer Chase, and thanks again so much for tuning in. Stay proud and go out and do something magical. And thank you again so much for tuning in.